What's up everybody? My name is Bhavesh and in this video I will be showing you how to write clean code. So let's get started. So here is a simple Python program to calculate average of element. So we declare an array from 1 to 10. Then we initialize a variable named as sum to 0. Then we iterate through the array and adds elements to the sum. Then we calculate the length of the array and store it in the variable L. Then we calculate average by dividing the sum through the total number of elements present in the array, and then we print it. So let's go ahead and run this program. So as you can see, we get the average of the elements. Now let me show you how this the same program will be written by an experienced software developer or a senior software developer. So this will be the same program to calculate average of the elements written by a experienced software developer. So as you can see, we have a function named as calculate average, which takes a array as an input. It calculates the sum of all elements present in the array using the built-in function name as sum and divided by the length of the array and return the average. So if you go forward and run this program, we will get the same output. Let me show you. So as you can see, we get the same output. Now this is something we refer to as clean code. So why this is known as clean code? Because it is more readable than this one. As you can see, here are a lot of mistakes. Let me show you one by one. The first mistake is here that we named a variable like a one letter. We could name it as array. So if someone your colleague is looking to this code, he will be like, what is this? Then also for iterating each element, we initialize the variable with I. We can initialize it with such as elements to make it more readable. And also for the length, we have only letter L. This will be a code written by a junior software developer who has less experience. Now here comes matter of the fact. The key takeaway is that whether you write this code to calculate average or this code, the computer is going to understand both the code and give you the same result, as you can see. But also the main point here is that this code is more readable, so a person will prefer this code more over this code. So in this video I will be going showing you some tips and tricks to write such a clean code. So without any further ado, let's get started. So given below are the three main parts of clean coding. So first I will going to teach you about the naming and booleans, then the if else hell, in conditional complexity, and then head scratching indentation. This will be a wonderful journey. So if you are wondering which theme I am using, so basically I am using the material theme ocean. So let me show you. This is the theme I am using, and the code editor is VS Code, and the terminal I am using is Git Bash. So let's get started. So the first part comes here is the naming. Let's say you want to name some string. So as you can see, Mumbai is a city, so we name the variable as city. So this makes the code more readable rather than naming it any variable with one letter. Now let me show you one more example. Let's say we have, this is the age of a person. So rather than naming it A, we can name it as A age. See. So the key takeaway from this part is that we should name variable which are meaningful, not something like A, S, etc. etc. Now the second part comes here is naming booleans. So as you can see, we can name a boolean. A boolean can be true or false. So let's say tall is equal to, oops, true. So rather than naming it tall, we can name it as, so as you can see, we provide a prefix known as is. This is more readable. So we can see that each tall is equal to true. So in your application, if you have any condition, let's say if uh, so as you can see, we get the output. So the key takeaway is that for naming boolean, we should precede it with is, has, or anything like that. Let's say, let me show you one more example. So this is basically the naming convention used for booleans. So never, I repeat, never name a boolean like this. Let's say is tall. Okay. So never name boolean having a negation in it. So as you can see, we have a negation not. So let's say, so this condition, this variable basically mean he is short. So is not tall is equal to true. So it is short. So let's say if is, it means it is short. So you can say, so if you run this, as you can see, he is short. But it becomes more complex when we add a negation to it. So if we add not, so if you want to know if a person is tall or anything like that, so it is more it is not readable. As you can see, if not is not tall, so is not tall, means it's short is not. So as you can see, it can cause more confusion. So never name a boolean having negation in it. Only name it is tall, has then the variable name, has money, like this. So this was the naming convention used for booleans. So the first point comes here is the if else else. So as you can see, this is a simple function which returns true or false based on the number it is given. So if the number is greater than 100, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. So as you can see, I have named the function as is greater than 100. As I said, we should name function and variable meaningful, and as it returns a boolean, we have prefix it with is. So we can clean this code even further. So if we have a single statement of if and else, we can do something like this. Let me show you. So as you can see, this is equivalent to this statement, but it is more cleaner. It is known as ternary operator. So what basically it does is that it returns true if this condition evaluates true, else false. So as you can see, this is much cleaner approach. We can clean this code even further. Let me show you. So as you can see, this is the best clean code you can write for a function who's returning a boolean with a single if else condition. So it takes in a number, and if the number is greater than 100, it evaluates this, and if this evaluates to true, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. So this would be the function written by a senior software developer versus this would be the function written by a experienced developer versus this would be the function written by a newbie or who is currently new to programming. So the point to comes here is the conditional complexity. So given below is a sample code. So we have a class person in which we have fields like name has admin rights and is owner, and we set it in the constructor, as you can see. Then we initialize the object with the name as admin rights and is owner of property, and we have a simple function. What this function does, it takes person object, and if the person has admin rights, or if he is the owner of his owner, then it greets the person and do some other logic in the application. Else it will say that you are not allowed to do this, or you are not allowed to modify this. So you can clean this code even further. So let me show you. If we have a large conditional, as you can see, it is a huge. So you can declare a variable, and cut this logic and store this in this variable. So as you can see, this increases the readability of the code. It's like you are saying a story to the person whom the code is been read. So when a person is reading this code, he will read like this: validate person. Okay, it takes a person object. So if he is authorized person, do some authentication. Else, say that you are not allowed to view this. See, this is more cleaner way. Now let me show you one more example, so you will understand it more effectively. So as you can see, this is a second example. We have the same person object, but we have more fields. We have salary, is programmer boolean, has wife, favorite OS, and knows git properties in it. And we have a function which determines if a person is happy or not. So it has a long condition. Let me show you. It takes a person object, and if the person is a programmer, and if his salary is greater than 2 lakhs, and his favorite OS is Linux, which means the OS is using, and also if he knows Git and the person has wife, then we will print out he is a happy person and do some more logic in our application. Else we will print you are not a happy person. So as you can see, the condition is huge and its readability is decreased. So we can clean this code even further. So let me show you. We can do something like, we can break down this in multiple booleans and combine it. So let me show you. So as you can see, we have broken down the long statement into multiple booleans. So as you can see, person is programmer and his salary is greater than 2 lakhs. So we can store it in the boolean name is programmer with good salary. And also his favorite OS is Linux and he knows Git. We can store this in a variable name as known Git and works in Linux, and housewife we can store it in the variable housewife. So if you go to read this program, we can see if he is a programmer with good salary, knows Git and works in Linux and has wife, then print he is a happy person. So as you can see, this is much cleaner code, and it is like we are elaborating story to the person. So we can see that we have function is happy which take in a person, and we have a condition. If the person is programmer with good salary and knows Git and works in Linux and has wife, print you are a happy person. See, it is much cleaner way rather than having a full long conditional statement. So this was point 2, the conditional complexity. So the last point comes here is the head scratching indentation. So as you can see, we have a simple program with two functions, get new value and do some stuff. So what this function do, it takes in a value, and if the value is not equal to none, it do some stuff, a lot of stuff. It has more than 7 8 line, and it can have even further, and a single else statement which return a string. So as you can see, this indentation is very ugly, and it has a low readability. So what you can do to clean this code, let me show you. You just need to invert this line. So we can say, so if the value is equal to none, we simply to this else part. We remove this else. See, now this is much cleaner code. So if the value is equal to none, we return this, and by returning we exit the function, or if the value is not equal to none, we do this stuff. So as you can see, we have removed the ugly indentation, so the code is much cleaner. So this was from my part. Now let me show you some bonus tips. There is a principle name as dry in the programming. It simply means don't repeat yourself. So let me show you with an example. So as you can see, this is a simple program. It is a binary search which takes in an array and a target to find. We initialize the left and right at 0 as and length of the array minus 1. So while left is less than right, we calculate middle. You know the binary search, no? So there is a principle known as dry. So it basically means that don't repeat yourself. So as you can see, we have repeated array of mid. So a person who is reading this may find it difficult. So what is array of mid? So what we can do, let me show you to clean this code. We can assign a variable current element and by the array of mid. So if you are reading this, we can say that we get the current element by accessing the mid value of the array. So if the current element is equal to target, return the mid. So we basically return the position. If the target is less than the current element, it means the target is in the left hand side of the middle portion. So we initialize right to the mid minus 1, else we initialize left to mid plus 1. So let me go ahead and run this program. So as you can see, I have passed in the array and we have to find the position of element 2. So we get 0 1 1 as an answer. So this is dry principle. It means don't repeat yourself. So we were first repeating array of mid everywhere in our program. So rather than repeating it, we assign it to a variable and use this variable throughout. So this was a short glimpse of dry principle. If you are working on large project or a large web application, you may be making API request to the backend servers, which gives you data, and you need to manipulate some logic to the data. So you don't want to have that manipulating logic everywhere in your code. Let's say you have the logic which is 2 or 3 times big, and you don't want to repeat it in your entire application. It makes the code looks ugly. So what you can do, you extract that logic and store it in the variable, and instead of using the logic everywhere in your program, you use that variable instead of that logic. So this is dry principle. Don't repeat yourself. So I conclude this video. I hope you found this video informative. Please drop down a like for this video and also comment down the topic which I should do a video in future. Thank you guys.